Wow, I feel like I forgot how to do this. Everything about it. Hey everyone, a long time no see. I am back from the dead just in time for the fall season, which is my favorite. Here we are in this new video, and I'm kind of struggling. Like it took me a while to get this done. How do I even talk anymore? I don't even remember. In this video, I'm gonna review the Norvina Volume 1 palette. Yes, I am super late to this, but hey, I just got this and I love it. I want to get Volume 2, and I wanted to show you how this palette would look on smaller hooded eyes, and so you can get a cruelty-free and vegan perspective on this. And I'm also going to be talking about the Kat Von D True Portrait Liquid to Powder Foundation.
Oh my god, you're using Kat Von D. Oh my god,
Way clearly, I've put everything on. You'll get to see my bare face in a second, and you'll get a close-up of the application of this palette. I was really motivated to do this video just because of this palette. Thank you so much, Norvina, and whoever else, put in the work to get this palette done, because it is an eyeshadow and pressed pigment palette that is all vegan. This is their first all vegan palette. I have been waiting for this moment. I knew that they had it in them to come up with this wild color story, and oh my god, did they ever get it done. Look at this beauty. So majestic. It is expensive though. It is $60, but honestly, I haven't bought any palettes in a while. I really can't remember the last palette I bought. I've just been using up what I have. A bunch of palettes came out by other brands and they had really interesting colors too, but I was like not 100% convinced. But as soon as I saw this, like I lost my breath. It's kind of difficult to find certain bright colors in a vegan formula, especially purples. I've been struggling so hard to find a variety of purple vegan shades. Like I do have the ABH Cosmetics Take Me to Brazil palette that has purples, but they weren't the exact tint and shade that I wanted. Then who else? Nabla has a couple of purple shadows, but they lean more into the pinky purples, but nothing like this. I knew Norvina, who is obsessed with purple, would give us something like this. So, a fun story. A little bit of tea. A while ago, I can't even remember if this was last year. Was it? Or was it earlier this year? I don't know. Point is, a while ago, I went to a makeup class in LA being held by Dominique LDR, and she's very close friends with Alyssa Marie Artistry, who works at Anastasia, and she was there too. And at the end of Dominique's class, Alyssa kind of stepped up to talk about social media, talk about makeup, just a little kiki. And afterwards, she was just kind of standing around, so I came up to her and I was really nervous because she's amazing at makeup. But I came up to her and I was like, hey, what would be amazing if you made an all-vegan palette? And, she gave me a very kind, diplomatic answer like, yes, that'd be great, but, we're sticking to something else right now. Those weren't her exact words. I'm just paraphrasing. She was super kind, super nice, just a lovely person. I just said, well, thank you to Norvina and Anastasia. Please thank them for me for giving us the option, at least, of, some vegan eyeshadows and all of the other vegan products, because it's really amazing. I really appreciate it. I use your products often and I love them. So I'm not saying I planted a seed or anything, but yeah, so since then we got this all vegan palette and I'm super thankful for it. All right, let's get into this look. Okay, here we go. Let's go. Before starting this, I did my face prep. All right, so let's take a tour of the palette. This thing is huge. It has, let's see, let me look at my notes. It has 25 deluxe sized high performance shades. Look at this baby. None of the pictures do these colors any justice. These colors are so vibrant in person. Like there's just something so pleasing about the way the colors are set up. It's just gorgeous. The deal with this palette is that it's a mixture of eyeshadows and pressed pigments. A lot of people don't know the difference between an eyeshadow and a pressed pigment, and just in case you don't know what it is, I'll tell you. eyeshadows contain a mixture of pigments, micas, binders, and preservatives to create a smooth, creamy formula that is seamless and blends with little effort. Pressed pigments are just as they sound. They are actual pigments pressed into a pan. Since there are not often extra ingredients added to the pigments, they tend to be used in colors that are extremely vibrant rather than providing a wash of color. They provide full pigmentation. And this has been something that a lot of brands have been doing lately, creating way more vibrant eyeshadows because consumers want them. We want these super intense, vibrant eyeshadows like, let's see, D4, D2, C3, B1. Oh my god, they're just insanely pigmented. So there's a lot of controversy behind pressed pigments because a lot of pressed pigments are pretty much on the neon spectrum and a lot of those aren't eye safe. So why are we putting them near our eyes and not caring about staining, possible little reaction? Well, that's because we want neon eyeshadows. Now there's an article on Refinery29 that says numerous headlines from the past few weeks, this is from a while ago, so probably in the past year or so, called into question the safety of the colors used in many of the cosmetics industry's most popular neon palettes. It turns out numerous beauty brands have been routinely adding colorants to pressed powder palettes that have not been approved for use around the eye area by the FDA, the government agency that regulates cosmetics. What's more, the products are still being openly sold by top beauty retailers thanks to clever marketing and labeling practices. Now, I'm not against pressed pigments. I've never personally had a negative reaction to them. So just be warned that very bright pressed pigments, very saturated colors could stain your eye. You could get a little allergic reaction to it, more than, let's say, a natural a natural all organic muted brown eyeshadow. So okay, I've talked enough, let's get into it. First thing I'm gonna do, which I think is a good idea if you get this palette, get the eye primer by Anastasia. This is a creamier eye primer. It's a little bit stickier and this is going to work really well with the pressed pigments. Okay, so let's get a little closer. So I'm applying this with the Anastasia 18 brush and I'm gonna buff it out. Then you're just gonna tap it onto your eye. Leave your eye relaxed if you have a hooded eyelid like I do, so the product can dry down a little bit and you won't get a crease line. Grab a fluffy brush and blend it upwards. Now, since this palette has the most gorgeous vegan purples I've ever seen, those are going to be the ones I'm going to focus on. We're going to dip into A3, C3, and C4. I'm going to use the e.l.f. eyeshadow C brush to pack on C4. And I'm going to dab this on along my crease line. Now, there's some kickback. I don't mind it. It's a pressed pigment after all. And now I'm going to blend that out a little bit with my Sigma E36 blending brush. And look at that gorgeous little gradient. Wow. And again, I'm barely touching the pan to grab color. Okay, now I'm grabbing my eyeshadow C brush from e.l.f. again, and I'm going to deepen that color on the outer corner. Now I'm going to grab my MOTD pigment packer and C1, which is the creamy white color. And I'm going to apply it under my brow to just blend in those colors a little bit more. And I'm barely touching my brow. This is so bright. Oh my gosh. Now we're going to go back in with the eye primer. I'm going to cut my crease. Now I'm going to grab my pigment packer brush from MOTD and I'm going to dip into C3. Dang, this is so reflective and gorgeous. It still looks a little bronzy in fall. I had some fallout from the sparkly eyeshadow. I'm just going to wipe this off. Pro tip, take old t-shirts and use them instead of cotton swabs and cotton balls to clean up your face. You'll be helping the environment. Now, I was gonna do some more purple in the outer part of my eye, but let's go for orange. I think we should do E2 and E4. I'm gonna go straight into E4. Yeesh. Amazing. Now guys, I don't like a super crisp cut crease. I like to blend the eyeshadow on my lid into the rest of my shadow, but if you want to do a super sharp cut crease, you can go right ahead. And for the outer part here, I'm gonna go in again with A3. Cool, let's get some more orange back on there. Now I'm going to take this pencil brush by Sigma and I'm going to put on a little bit of the primer in the bottom lash line, well, under the lash line. For my inner corner, I'm going to go in with E1. This shadow reminds me of the old school Melon Pigment by MAC. It's a color I've been dreaming of having once again, and it is finally here. Ooh, it is so good. It has that golden color with a tiny bit of a pinky red shift. Then I'm gonna go into E2, which is the lighter orange color. We're gonna do that right here. Wow, this is like a neon pumpkin shade. So gorge. Now we're gonna go back in with E4, which is the super orange shade, and we're gonna use this to connect the top to the bottom. I'm even gonna bring this into the waterline since we're already here and there was a little bit of pigment on there. I'll be right back. I'm gonna do my other eye. And all right, so there we have this colorful Norvina Volume 1 eyeshadow look. I am loving this. And man, you can do the softest looks with this palette or something wild like this. Now, I know a lot of you have a lot of strong feelings about Kat Von D. I just want to continue reviewing products for you. You make the choice. If you don't want to use Kat Von D, go ahead, skip this. This is the new True Portrait Liquid to Powder Foundation. Now, this is very different from her first foundation. The first foundation is full coverage. It goes on thick. I just don't like that super ultra matte, super flat look. So I tend to go for something that's a little like demi matte. So I was really curious about this. It is a medium coverage, and sometimes I need a little bit more coverage because I get little zits now and then, and I do get spots that aren't covered up easily. I do need concealer or a little bit thicker foundation to cover those up, and this doesn't really help with that. If you have near perfect skin, you just want a little bit of coverage, I think this is going to be good for you. It dries down pretty quickly. It feels like you're just wearing powder, so if that's something you're into, I think you'll really appreciate this. So the instructions are basically to use your fingers when applying this, so that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna dab on a little bit. It feels so weird. It starts oily, but as soon as you start moving it around, it feels like powder. So check out this spot and this redness around my nose and on my chin where I have acne scars. Like it will not fully cover. And I don't consider this buildable after you let it dry. If you put on a little bit, and it'll cover it just a bit, but not too much. So let's get close again, see how this doesn't really cover up my acne scars. Here's a second layer. Let's see if this helps. There's a little redness there. Let's try my nose. This is another thing. It just really disappears from my nose quickly. And I'm going to use a beauty blender to get closer to the eyes. And see, a second layer of the foundation does help, but it still really doesn't do a lot of coverage. And let's zoom back out. Now, I can't really say much about the durability. I haven't used it for like a special event. I did wear it to work on a really warm, humid day, and I did feel like it just disappeared from my face, even though I used primer and stuff. Right now, I didn't use anything else except the moisturizer I had on before. Now, on the Anastasia website, it says that you can use the colors as your blush, and I was like, ooh, I'm gonna dip into C4 and just with a few taps. Let's see, that's the amount of color you get. I'm gonna tap it on the back of my hand. If I would have put that directly onto my face, that's what it would have looked like. I would have been mortified. So let's see, tap it off. Ooh, I like this. Okay, so C4. is a winner as a blush. Let me put on some lipstick and I'll be right back. The lip color I have on is the Dose of Colors Knock on Wood lined with Lime Crime's Velveteen's lip liner in Angel. Okay, so guys, that is my review and my demo of the Norvina palette one. I know everyone's done a review of this. I'm really late to the party, but again, I've been gone for a bit, and this is the palette I just recently purchased. They've already announced volume 2 and volume 3. I think I'm gonna get volume 2 because of the colors. Volume 3 is really pretty, but I don't think I need it. So those are my thoughts on that. Again, the Kat Von D foundation, probably a pass. But what else? Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, so let's see if I remember the ending. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share this video with a friend. I would really appreciate it. I will see you in the next video, and until then, bye.